Hi everybody, it's Christina and thank you for joining me. So today I'm going to share with you how I created these beautiful heart-shaped cards, and these will stand on their own and will make beautiful anniversary, wedding, Valentine's Day cards, whatever occasion you want them for. Now the die set that I've used for this has been just one die set, and this is the heart box, and this is the piece that I've used more than any other. Now to get this shape I've used this largest die from the set, but to increase the size of the shape I've done the faux nesty trick, and that is trace around the outside of it and then cut it out, and that's given me a shape that is bigger than this one. So I folded a piece of card in half and I'm taking the largest die from the set. Now where you position your die on this card will determine which way the heart lies. So the folder's at the top. Now so let me show you what I mean. For this one I've positioned the die so that it sits like this, and for this one I've positioned the die so it sits like this, and for this one I've positioned the die so that it sits more with the join at the top. Now that will help you to decide which way you want your card to stand. Now still with the same die, you want more pieces now to cut into the front, and you want exactly the same size die so that once it's fitted to this panel it completes that shape. So there, now I've cut 3 more shapes, and once they're fitted to this base card that will complete the shape of the heart on the end. So now they 3 are all ready to be added to. So I have the heart on a sticky mat, I've got my smusher, I've got my chipped sapphire, I've put some on the mat, and I'm going to spritz that with a little bit of water. And then we can pick up that colour and just add it to our heart. And we can let that dry, and then we can add another colour, another shade of blue. Now for the second colour I've used tumbled glass, and I'm just going to spritz that, and this is the second coat of the tumbled glass. So I'm just going to add this over the top of the chipped sapphire, and then I'm going to dry that with my heat tool. Now with a little stencil and some homemade texture paste, I'm just going to add some more decoration to this card. So I'm just going to spread this on just in random areas, scrape off the excess and add a little bit more down here. Now of course you'll need to let that dry, or you can dry it off with your heat tool. It's entirely up to you. So what I like to do with mine is sprinkle it with some white embossing powder and then heat set it. Now you will find that that will bubble up a little bit, but it doesn't matter. It all adds to the texture of the card. Now I'm going to spritz this silver paint, and I'm going to splatter this onto my card. So we'll get it all mixed in, and then we'll just splatter it onto the top of this card. I'm using quite a thick brush so it will leave big blobs on my card, and then I can dry that off, and that will give me a lovely glittery shine. So this is where we're up to so far. using the largest die and our paper folded in half, our card rather. This is a 300 GSM card. I've cut my base shape. Using the same die, I've cut another one that will fit on the front, and then I've done my panel. Now using the next die down, which is the smaller one, I'm going to cut this one out, and that will sit on the front of my card. Now to add just a little bit more interest, I'm going around the outside edge with some blue ink, and I'm just using what's left on my brush, and that's just tying in the edges to the rest of the card. Now because you used the smaller die, you will find that will leave you just a small border around the edge. Now before you glue these to your card, we're going to turn that one over and we're going to add some lace to the edges of it. So I'm going to use a hot glue gun and I'm going to add this lace just around the edges of this card, and to make sure it curves properly, I'm just taking a small pair of scissors and I'm just going to snip into it just a little bit, and that will help that to bend around that card. So I'm just gluing this edge to this edge here. So once you have your lace glued around the edge, you're going to very carefully marry it up with the piece that goes on the front of your base, and then you're going to add all that to your base card. So there we have two coloured panels. One's got lace round it, the other is just like a marbly effect. Now don't forget, the way that you add this to your base card will determine the way that it stands. So this one has got the hinge on the left hand side and that will stand that way, and this one has the hinge on the right hand side and that will stand that way. So each one is facing a different way. Now you can decorate them as you would like. Now to decorate my cards, I've got silver and gold, I've got some lace, I've also got some little twigs that I've had for a long time and they never seem to go down any. I've also got some string and I've got little berries and lots of flowers. These are from Wild Orchid Crafts, but they no longer ship to the UK. So an alternative supplier is in the UK, and that is Carroway Cottage, and they do exactly the same type of flowers and very similar embellishments that Wild Orchid Crafts do. So these are the flowers that I'm going to select for my cards, and we'll just have a dry run first of where we would like them. So once I have my flowers in place, I've taken some white paint onto a little dauber and I'm just going to dot this over the flowers, and that just distresses them a little bit more. And then once that's dry, I can dot the same flowers again, glitter. So there are the two cards now finished. They've been sprinkled with some glitter, and I've used the German glass glitter that I've got, and I've had this for years, and you can see how much has gone. Very little. So there's an orange and yellow one, and there's a blue one. This is a turquoise one that I created earlier, and this is the pink one that I've enlarged by tracing around the outside of the largest die. So all those now are ready to send to my recipients. Now for these two, I've lined the inside just to give them a little bit more strength, and this one. and they will stand now however I would like them to stand. And depending on which way around you use the card base will give you a card that stands in a different direction. So these two go in opposite ways. So just bear that in mind when you're assembling your card. So I hope you've enjoyed the video, and if you have, please join me on the next one. Leave me a comment and give me the thumbs up. And why not subscribe to my channel, click the notification bell, then you'll always be aware when I add a new video. Thank you so much for joining me. I'll see you again soon. Bye for now.